wanted something that most of us want, success. I had so many ideas. I was going to change the name to make it more inclusive. I was going to get drapes to make it classy. I was going to have a fun theme so we could see Mr. Gill dressed head to toe in his adult-sized Harry Potter gear. Armed with my ideas and innovations, I confidently sought in for planning the Winter Ball. It didn't take long, however, before I started making mistakes. Some were small, like forgetting to put the posters, which I still have to in my garage, and some were big, like getting Gabe Neal instead of a real DJ. But even through the mountain of mistakes that led up to the event, by 9 p.m. on Saturday, December 6th, I was feeling pretty good. The dance had a few problems. Most memorably, I asked Gabe if he had a slow song for the royalty dance, and he said, yeah, I'll think of something. And when it came time, he whipped out Led Zeppelin 4 on vinyl and played Stairway to Heaven. Which was fun for me, but I don't know if the royalty enjoyed it. Anyway, over the next few days, I was feeling relieved. I was relaxed and I was successful. But those feelings changed when I read the Hub's coverage of the event. Here's the headline. Ready? Winter Ball dazzles some, disappoints most. That was a rough start. And as I read through the article, I realized how many things had gone wrong. The lights were too bright, the music was weird, there wasn't enough magic, and the memories of all the mistakes that I had made came flooding back to me. Going into planning a Winter Ball, I was set. I was determined on success, but taking a step back and looking at the facts, I had produced a failure. Seniors of DHS, I'm not here to talk about the 2015 Winter Ball. You all went and probably enjoyed it a mediocre amount. No. I'm here to talk about successes and failures. Failures can be the result of in-the-moment mistakes, like somehow setting off the fire alarm at the Hyatt San Diego on the quest for 4 a.m. Denny's. They can be the result of poor prior planning, like being stuck all year in 7th period regular bio as a senior. Failures can be something that we ignore and deny, or they can be something that we accept and learn from. I am so lucky that the Hub was candid about my failure. I could have carried on with unfounded and baseless confidence in my ability to successfully lead a group and put on an event. But the Hub article, which I still have framed on my wall, by the way, told me that my event was a disappointment, and informed me that if I was planning on continuing to lead groups and put on events, and spoiler alert, I was going to have to make some changes. Perhaps even more importantly, I am so lucky, so fortunate to have had Annie Leck and Tina Simpson, Mr. Eric Morgan there for me, and not to comfort me and lie to me and tell me that my event was fine, but to give me criticism and advice, and to honestly tell me the things I needed to do to improve myself as a leader. Failures can be useless, like the new water bottle filler things that I am and always will be in denial that it's any more awkward to drink from those than from a regular one. It's like the awkward sophomores and me that are drinking out of those, but they can be useless or they can be valuable, like my Winter Ball. If we're to make our failures valuable, we need those two things. We need someone to tell us that we failed, and we need someone to tell us how to improve. And so armed with that knowledge, armed with knowing what I needed to improve, I marched confidently into my term as ASB president, full of ideas, once again full of ideas on how I would make student government great, both for the school and for the people in the class itself. And to no one's surprise, the entire year was full of failures. I could talk for hours about all the events that went poorly, all the decisions I made wrong, all the responsibilities I absentmindedly forgot about or even slept through. But I will focus on one failure that almost all leaders anywhere struggle with, and that is the failure to create unity. Unity wasn't something that I was concerned with at the beginning of the year, and I didn't really notice how bad it was at the end of the first semester. See, in Student Gov, our first semester final period is spent doing a Secret Santa kind of thing, but instead of Secret Santa, to keep it secular for public school, we call it Mysterious Moses. And in my first 2 years, Mysterious Moses was so much fun. It was joyous, it brought the class together, everybody was giving heartfelt and meaningful gifts, and we spent all time basking in the secular holidays and each other's company. This year, though, my year, the gift ceremonies, they were quick and disappointing, and the members of the class just kind of returned to their cliques once they were done. And looking around on that day, it was really disheartening, because I knew that for the whole semester, I had completely failed to bring the class together as a community. And I'll admit, I didn't do a great job of learning from that failure, because if you remember what was going on during the last week before winter break, the only thing I wanted to do, the only thing I could think about at that point, was watching Star Wars. It was awesome, but I kind of lost track. I lost track of the error of my ways with respect to the class's bonding. And so we'll flash forward to about 2 weeks ago. Student Gov kind of recognizing overnight, and some of you, well not you, but some of you may remember it from one of my legendary Snapchat stories. And late into the night, we sat together as a class, and for the first time all year, we talked as a whole group, just with the intent of getting to know each other better, and it worked. We walked out of that gym at 6 a.m., not as a random assembly of coworkers, but a close-knit group of friends. After the overnight, everyone had the same comment. We should have done this at the beginning of the year. We should have done this earlier. It may be too late for me to recover from that particular failure, but I know for certain that next year, everyone's going to make an effort from the get-go to bond, and I have a good feeling that class chemistry will be a lot better next year. Failures can be conspicuous and external, like taking all year to paint a mural that consists of literally 9 white letters in a devil. Or they can be silent and internal, like taking all year to foster a strong sense of unity in a group of people. But no matter what the failure, we have to make it valuable. Whether that means reflecting and improving on ourselves or passing down wisdom to the next generation, there's always a way that we can make our failures valuable. Now, I did say that I was going to talk about successes and failures, and I've pretty much just covered a list of my failures so far. So I'm going to talk about successes. But the reason I haven't gotten to them yet is that, look at this, they speak for themselves. Look at the incredible crowd of seniors we have up here. With impressive accomplishments in academics, athletics, arts, music, community service, and countless other fields. We have record-breaking athletes. We have ridiculously talented jazz musicians. We have national merit scholars. And by the way, I'm going to use that as a pickup line forever. Ready? Watch this. Hey, ladies. Back in the day, I did pretty well on the PSAT.
Oh, yeah.
Can't recover from that. That's too good. That's going to be a killer. Anyway, successes. It would be easy to look at this group of seniors and to say, they're so good at what they do, or they've done so much to receive these honors that they couldn't possibly have felt the taste of failure, or even that they don't need it to learn from their failures. But I know a lot of these seniors personally, and I can say with absolute certainty that every one of us has experienced not just one or two, but a long series of major and minor failures on our road to this stage. Every one of us has regrets. Every one of us was complicit in the failure that was this year's senior prank. Every one of us has taken the shame. Every one of us had a t-shirt to wear on college you got rejected from day. And I swear that I didn't get up here just to insult all of these lovely people. My point is exactly the opposite. I have standing on this stage living and breathing proof that failure, when handled properly, leads to success. No matter where you're going or what you're doing, if you reflect on your mistakes and you make a conscious effort to improve, you will always find success in failure. I would like to thank the student government class, and especially my Vice President, Sam Goydell, for providing me with a place to publicly and consistently fail. I would like to thank Mr. Anthony Vasquez, where is he? I'd like to thank Mr. Anthony Vasquez, first of all, for coming up with that incredible rap. I'm already trying to think of a response, but most of all, for stepping up this year to do an incredibly difficult job. He was always there. I was constantly forgetting stuff in his room. I'd call him at like 6 p.m. on a Saturday and be like, Mr. Vasquez, I forgot something in your room. Can you come? He'd be like, yeah, I'll tell you, I'll unlock it again. I mean, he was always there for me, right by my side, every time, helping me clean up my mistakes. And finally, I'd like to thank Davis Senior High School for 3 years of wonderful success and 3 years of glorious, magnificent, and spectacular failure. Thank you.